It's interesting too when you look at all four plays. Three of them deal with death directly, um, and it seems like that's one of the more common themes within your plays. Would you agree with that? Outside of memory.
I mean, uh, people die, and this play I wrote specifically because of the knowledge of this guy's death. And I said, oh, this is the time to write the play. You get these impulses to create a work of art. Sometimes it's, I've got an idea for another play. Recently, I was emailing you and some other people about this crazy woman that I work with now. So I got an idea for a play with her dealing with other characters who share her first name. I did the Lana Brown play, so I'm going to call them all Lanas. So the play is going to be called the plural Lanas, and 5 or 6 crazy Lanas that I knew. But this one started because of the death of this guy, and I wanted to write about my one night stand with the niece, and I said, oh well, let me just combine them together into one play since. I saw them together that one night, and that led to the one night stand with the girl.
And how do you think of the structure where uh, Mitchell Murphy and Patty Reese, I think Paula too, are going through Danny's memories?
Well, that's just a device to uh, give a little depth. One of the things I think you might have mentioned early on, talking about my use of breaking the fourth wall and this postmodernist stuff, is that you have to try to do it differently, and just having a character break the fourth wall or be a bit meta in and of itself doesn't do anything. So you have to find different ways to have the characters intertwine in different ways. Remember the play that I had where there were characters that were in Danny's mind as he was having an operation, and then the end of that play becomes the beginning of a play that I wrote a few plays later about this gorgeous nurse that I woke up to after the operation, who has a crisis of conscience when she's dealing with the death of someone she was close to.
I think many of your better plays are where Danny Wagner is sort of a side character.
Mm.
Uh, that's why I think that looks like death may be the best out of these four plays.
Mm-hmm.
But what are your thoughts on that? Because the ones that really stick with me are like the ones with the two crazy sisters that remind me of the Waltons characters and the Henry Miller play.
Yeah, my favorite plays are those where Danny is a secondary or tertiary level character. But by the same token, the some of the plays require me, because like in this play, well, Danny is a secondary character here, really. Well, if he's not a secondary, he's a character 1A or 1B, but behind the Mitch Murphy character. Mitch Murphy is the central character, so Danny is maybe 1A or 1B.
Mm-hmm. So there are many good scenes in this play. I'll get to none of them stick with me in the same way that particularly a few scenes in Still Standing Domino do. But uh, there's one scene where Danny is trying to woo this girl, and he reads this great poem, "Girl with the Guitar," to this woman that you call Jody Upton.
Yeah.
And she turns him down and is actually seemingly offended by him reading it publicly,
Yeah.
and announcing his affection for her.
Yeah, well, that happened, and this is a girl, or now a woman in her early 40s, a year or two older than Jess, that I guess has had some success musically. She's not become a big star, but she's written theme songs for some TV shows and whatnot. So I'm sure she's doing well financially. But you wouldn't know the name, her real name, and it's one of those things. She had this odd hostility that for some reason that I was attracted to her. And it's interesting because these meta, if I think you said early on when we started doing these interviews, Chin Zhan Ziang had said that this is like one giant meta play about the life of Danny Wagner. And if you look at all the different females that Danny's interacted with, there's all sorts of interactions. There's Dee Upton has some overt hostility when Danny was nothing but solicitous to her. And maybe my hormones, my pheromones just rubbed her the wrong way, but she was hostile to me. And there was even later on in real life, one of my male friends, I went out to a movie theater once in Minnesota. She was working as a ticket taker there, and I said, "Oh, hello," and she's like, "I said, how you doing?" She said, And she said, "Ticket." And she won't even talk to me. It's like, what did I ever do to her? I don't know.
Mitch, because of his artistic roots and his life as a hack actor,